Mr. Marston, how are you?
Good, Miss McFarland. How are you?
I'm well. Would you mind riding with me to Armadillo? I've got to get some supplies and I could do with the company.
Of course.
You can take the reins. It wouldn't do for a terrifying bounty hunter such as yourself to be seen driven around by a woman. Take the reins, Mr. Marston. If you don't mind, I'd really like to get moving. You're looking much better, considering you were almost buzzard food a couple days ago.
I have you to thank for that, miss.
So do tell me, have you needlessly risked your life since we last spoke?
No, miss, I have not.
Well, that's a relief. Perhaps there's hope for you yet.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh, there's always hope, Mr. Marston. You can't be a rancher in this kind of country if you don't believe that.
An admirable attitude, miss.
I suppose so. I can't think of any other way to stay sane, to be frank. What about you? Have you ever given up hope altogether?
Hope hasn't really entered into it. It's not really something I think about.
A peculiar outlook. I can't really say I understand you.
I can't always say I do either.
Oh, don't be so deliberately enigmatic.
I'm not, miss.
Yes, you are. You are being deliberately obscure as a substitute for having a personality.
I just know there are two theories to arguing with women, and neither one works.
I'm not even going to dignify that gibberish with a response. You look like a man who's been through the mill.
Thank you.
I mean, you've lived some life. I'm 27 years old and I have rarely left Hennigan's stead. Although many years ago we did briefly employ a French governess. Well, I think she was French. She said she was French, but she spoke Russian. That was when Paul thought I would become a lady.
A change of pasture doesn't always make for a fatter calf.
I know, and I wouldn't change my life for all the money in the world. I'm just saying, sometimes I wish I'd been, well, braver. Been to more places, seen more things.
If you ask me, it usually takes more strength to stay than to run, Miss McFarland.
I always enjoy a trip to Armadillo.
Sure is a pleasant journey.
It used to be such a nice town before that gang started helling around the place, causing all that trouble, shaking down the local merchants, kidnapping, and worse.
That's what I heard.
It's a terrible shame, if you ask me, and there's not a man with the gravel in his gizzard to stand up to them.
What about the marshal?
Well, he's doing what he can with what he's been given, I suppose.
What do you do, mister?
So this is Armadillo. Manhattan it is not, but it does okay for us. Most important thing for you right now is getting yourself into Dr. Johnson's office to purchase some medicine. The first one's on me.
Thank you, miss. I'll pay you back.
I'm sure you shall. The doc's a good fellow. He saved your life, so be polite to him. Meet me in front of the general store when you're done.
Why, hello there.
How would Armadillo get by without...
Hey, partner.
Finally come to get that bullet out your leg. Any trouble, let me know.
Thank you very much.
Stay away from the salt pork and tobacco.
right down to the whorehouse.
Well, thanks for driving me. It was nice to be able to enjoy the view for once, and a little company never hurts now and again.
You're more than welcome, miss. Least I can do. Thank you for the medicine.
Why don't you have a look around Armadillo? You can always take the stagecoach back to the ranch later.
I might just do that. Travel safely, miss.
Try not to get yourself shot. I won't be around to save you this time.
Howdy! Blackwater
Heard that coup was
on
going
getting
pretty
big.
long the other week.
Damn.
You're speaking the truth now.
You know, John's elected governor. He's going to open the rail lines to Allende.
You must have got
You want to spend some time with me? I heard.
I do beg pardon. Hello.
You know, they're planning on building a rail junction. Wait. Haley McGregor's with the drive.
I'm doing the best I can, mister.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself. Try and behave yourself now. Bye-bye.
Mr. Marston, I've been hearing about your plans.
Have you, Miss McFarland?
Yes, from Lee Johnson, to settle here and build a life for yourself.
I'm afraid those aren't my plans. See, I already have a life. Well, I had one, and I'm trying to reclaim it. Or maybe what you could say is that I had two, and I'm trying to end one of them so the other can survive.
You do so love to talk in riddles, Mr. Marston. Do you do that, I wonder, as a substitute for having anything interesting to say?
Probably, Miss McFarland.
Oh, call me Bonnie, you fool. Call me Bonnie.
Miss McFarland, I'm married. I have a son. I had a daughter, but she died. Years before that, I rode in a gang. We robbed banks, trains, held people ransom. We killed people we didn't like. Bill Williamson was in that gang. Now, if I don't capture my former brother in arms, great harm will befall my family. Now, I don't suppose any of this is very interesting to you, but I hope it explains why I wasn't so eager to talk about it.
No, I do understand. I had no idea. You poor man.
Even in this new country, memories don't really fade. My father was an illiterate Scot born on the boat into New York. He never saw his homeland, but to hear him talk about it, you'd imagine he only ever ate haggis and wore a kilt. And he hated the English for what they had done to his great-grandparents that he'd never met. People don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven.
That's true, especially when it comes to money. And you know, even now, after all his labors, my father's debts are still terrible. I worry every day about us losing the ranch. It would kill him.
My father died when I was 8 years old. His eyes were, well, let's just say he was blinded in a bar fight south of Chicago. My mother died during childbirth. She was a prostitute, and he was her, well, I don't know what he was. So I was sent off to an orphanage and ran away and fell in with a gang.
My word. What a difficult life you've lived.
The leader of the gang taught me how to read, taught me how to see all that was good in the world. He was a great man in a way.
But you killed people.
Sure. And I've suffered for it. And that's the life I left, or tried to lead. Said too much, Bonnie. I'm an uneducated killer, sent here to do all I can do well. Kill a man in cold blood so that another man may do his part to cut crime in an area, and a rich man can be elected governor on the back of these promises.
Civilization is a truly beautiful thing, Mr. Marston. Listen, can you help me?
Well, I can try. What do you need, money?
No, nothing so complicated. I need an extra hand to take out the herd to pasture.
Sure. Point me in the right direction.
To the cow pen. It's about time a budding farmer such as yourself learned how to herd cattle.
Let's go!
Thank you for telling me all that back there. It must have been hard for you.
Hope you understand now why I've been playing my cards somewhat close to my chest.
I didn't know you had a wife and child. Then again, I don't think I ever asked. They're lucky to have a man like you.
I ain't so sure about that, but thank you.
How are you, Miss McFarland?
You should learn to ride before you learn to herd. All right, let's see if you can herd cows as well as you can charm humanity.
Let's go.
Come on, boys.
He's got it. We're moving.
Get Hitchell!
This way! We need to take them out to the pasture!
Go!
He's just showing off now. Keep
Good.
going, Mr.
Now we
Marston.
need to move this entire herd out to the far pasture for grazing.
Here!
Sweep back and forth behind them. Keep them nice and tight.
Doing great, Mr. Marston. Stay with him. Keep that herd together now. Watch for the runners. Come on. Marty's gonna love this.
You're not bad with the herd. Ranching might be your true calling, Mr. Marston. Either that or you were a cow in a past life.
Thank you, Miss McFarland.
I'll see you later. I have work to do back at the ranch.